I'm your host, and I'm Terry. And I would like for the two people next to me introduce themselves.
I'm saying they're going to step into character out of Muggledom. So, character-wise, I am Professor Sarah Weiss. I am head of Puzzle House at the Calhoun School of Natural Arts. Puzzle House, yes, we're in the Puzzle House. I guess we'll do the intro and then we'll introduce our schools.
Guess I might as well take the chance. G'day.
G'day.
Right.
We're in America. So.
Oh, sorry.
I understood.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll get an interpreter later. Get something else. Yeah, when we're stepping into character, I'm Professor Eleanor, call me Lynn, McKillop, Australia School, called Courage School for Thaumaturgy in the Outback. We're not going to tell you exactly where it is, but definitely Australia. Yeah, right here we have a lovely map of the world and the magical schools sprinkled about it. Joe Rowling left us without one in Australia, so we made one.
Okay, I guess we'll introduce our schools too. So, yes, Calhoun School of Natural Arts is based in the Appalachian Mountains, right there at the Tennessee-North Carolina border. Some of you guys have been in the area, you know, like Lingman Stone. That's what the Muggles see. That's actually where you enter into our school. For you as Muggles, our word is Usti. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, so it was started by the Paint Clan of the Cherokee tribe in 1586. They do a lot of more natural magic, and they started noticing, especially as the European settlers came in, they were noticing some of them had a little bit more power to them, and they realized we need to start a school. And as more and more like the white folk, as am I, started coming in, we said we actually really needed a school. So we put together a school and slowly have developed, like the Cherokee have the 7 clans, we have 7 houses. Those are the the wolf house, which is like red or wolf, like their house colors. We have the Savannah house, which is green and has the panther. We have the paint house, which is white and their animal is otter. Puzzle house, mine is blue and dolphins. The braided house is yellow and hounds. And eagle house is purple, and they've got, of course, an eagle. And the forest house is brown, and they are represented by the deer. And our headmistress currently is Kamama Mankiller. Love her, she's awesome. Best ever.
Yes.
She's fun.
We travel around a lot. We find ourselves over in Hogwarts in the town, I think they call it Orlando.
Very magical place.
Yeah, we spend a little time there. We
We love
just
friends there.
run around in costume and, oh, I love that. This is my working hat, people. These are my potions. I'm the potions master, so I've got to have my equipment at hand. So there it is. So, where do we go from there?
Tell about your school.
My school. My school. Courgeon. Yeah, that's it. We've only got 3 houses. Sorry, we got discounted. 3 people started it. 3 people are the headmasters. There's Yangzun House. Well, we call them clans, so it's Clan Yangzun. We also have 3 colors. It's a color, gemstone, and a metal. Yay. So Yangzun's is purple. Nickel is our metal, and jade is our gemstone, and our mascot is Bunyip. You don't know what a bunyip is?
Bunyan?
Bunyip.
Bunyip. It's a bunny, isn't it?
Oh, not even.
No.
It's kind of a sea monster.
Water
Oh.
He is a water dragon.
So,
Bunyip.
I was going to say, I hate to interrupt you just for a moment, but this
Okay.
lovely lady
The
would
lady
like
with
to.
bucket.
The lady with the bucket. Would like, anybody want to enter the raffle? We're
Last
raffling off 2 things. One raffle is for a lightsaber that was donated. It's a functioning lightsaber. Well, as functioning as we can make them, you know, in the real world. And the other one is for, as we like to say, we're raffling off the convention, but it's a stay in the hotel, and I believe in relation to.
Com badges.
Pardon?
Com badges.
And admission to the convention.
We
right?
don't need
Two
to
people.
Taking badges?
Is membership.
Got it. 2 nights in the hotel, 2 memberships to the convention. So yeah, basically we're rattling off the convention. So the tickets are $5 a piece or 5 for 20. Is that right?
Yes.
Ah, I got it right.
That's right there in the head.
Well, yeah, but I was doing it from memory. You know, so. All right, anybody else? She will be roaming around taking your money while we continue our
Okay.
information.
You take
on
plastic.
Yes.
So I give you the.
All right, carry on about your,
Carry on.
do tell us more about your school.
All right. Other house is
Thank you, and those
Cultures, and it's spelled funny, but
That's
it's Keultjes. It took me forever to learn to spell it. Cultures. It's pronounced kind of like cultures.
Those are for the.
Their colors are teal. Their gemstone is opal. And their metal is copper. So they're very colorful group. And then Lionel Raby founded his house. He liked the coral reefs, so their main color is coral. And their metal is bauxite, which is like crude aluminum, so it's actually kind of a yellowish color. And their gemstone is a blue diamond, so they're kind of cute color too. Raby House has a drop bag as their mascot. You all know what a drop bag is?
A drop bear.
It looks kind of like a koala, but they drop in the trees and yeah, they're not friendly. Well, Oz is. Daisy drop bear is very friendly. And Cult's house has a platypus named Percy, I believe. Yeah. And our Bunyip's name is Barton. Do not call him Barty. Just need to know that. So what do we do? Huh?
Did you have another intro?
Oh, that's enough.
Okay. So we also got some awesome questions sent in from Hogwarts students. So as our Hogwarts representative, she's going to read off some questions from the students there.
All right, so I've been out of England for quite some time, so my accent does no longer exist, so we'll just deal with it.
Okay.
All right, so here is our first question from Serenity Burbage. She would like to know, how do you send the acceptance letters to your students?
So being a U.S. school, we started as the U.S. Postal Service got developed. We tried using that, but as we know, letters take forever. So some people didn't get their letters till start of term. So we decided, you know, what better way than send Eagles? You know, take Lord of the Rings and send the Eagles and just give them their letters that way. They arrived perfectly on time then. Yeah.
Okay, but are you not concerned that eagles are rather large birds?
Well, that way they can carry several, you know, letters at a time. I mean, owls are pretty big too.
Okay.
No.
Eagles are way bigger.
Yeah, true.
All right.
Great.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And those are for the Florida kids.
Let's terrify some of the students. Okay.
Yours keep going.
When did we come home? We're going a little more compact at our school. If you don't know what a galah is, it's a gray and kind of pinkish parrot, about so big. Talkers too. These guys are a regular postal service, so they can deliver letters. They can also, if you give them a nice simple message, repeat it back to whoever your sender is, so there's no paper trail. But for our new students, they get a little miniature kaleidoscope. This is the bigger one, but they get a little bitty tube. It looks like a kaleidoscope, and they hold it up and they turn it and it goes, "You've been accepted to the school." And as they turn it, it gives them their school supply list, so they know what books they need, what clothing they need, and all their supplies in that nice little tube. That's how we do it.
Nice.
Yeah?
Let's go back.
All right, are we ready for our next question?
Oh, sure.
All right, so Violet Dursley, you may recognize the Dursley name, so apparently they're not all muggles. How do you sort your students into their houses?
Yeah. Rolling like dice.
Right, so in Hogwarts, we have a hat that does it. All the students have to put a hat on, you know, one at a time. And so how do you do it in your school?
So because we are mostly in Cherokee tradition, we've got a room that looks a lot like the council house in Cherokee, and each kid is told in their acceptance letter that they need to bring something that represents them, that's personal to them, and they go into council house, they step in the middle and throw their token into the middle, and then their house's animal appears in the smoke, and then they go sit in their section with their heads of house and their prefects. And the teachers, yeah.
That's cool.
No, see, we were learning stuff for each other too.
Yeah.
Not
It's
old
funny
school
how much
stuff.
Australia and Native America have in common, because we have not conferred about this.
Our countries were founded by the same kind of people.
Australia's a very casual place, so we don't do anything formal. Everybody goes outside, we have a nice big thing we call our welcoming fire bowl. Nice fire going in there, all kinds of colors dancing in it. Our new students may not be first years, they may be transfers, but they all sit in a ring very close to the fire bowl. And then one of the teachers, this is a miniature model, we call it a calidoo. It's a kaleidoscopic didgeridoo. And they hand it to one of the children. Oh no. You look inside, and you guys can if you want later, there's all kinds of little colorful things. And the kid turns it around, and all of a sudden, an image solidifies it. It may be the colors of the house, or it may be the mascot of the house, but he sees something that means something to him. You know how to play a didgeridoo? This one doesn't work. But you blow into it, and it makes this thrumming noise, and the fire in the fireball magically recreates the image they see inside the calidoo, and they know what clan they're in. And then the clan mascot comes on over, whether it's a drop bear or the big old bunyip or a cute little platypus, and takes them over to sit with the rest of the clan. So it's decorated in our clan totems.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so our next question is from Casey Reynolds, who's a student at Hogwarts this year. Casey would like to know, what classes do you offer that Hogwarts does not?
From last part, we did the same, herbology and flies and all that. One of the things, again, because we are based in old tradition here, we do have a little bit of like a hunting class. So if they do end up in the regular world with other people, they still know how to hunt for food and, just have a little bit of sport. So we do have like a hunting class if they choose to do that. But and then we're the same. We pretty much have the same kind of classes because of the magic.
Basic magic.
Yes.
Yeah, we do have a few extra classes. We've dropped some of their classic ones, but we do have magic and miracles around the world, because we've got a fellow who's traveled around the world and learned about magic and miracles there. Makes too much sense. Magic zoology, of course, is a standard course, but because we're in Australia, we have two different survival courses that kids take. One is survival in the wild. There are lots of animals out there. You might have heard that Australia has a few dangerous things that might, poison you or eat you or what. So you need to learn special defenses against those creatures. That's why our mascots are some of those dangerous creatures. And the other is survival in the Yabo world. That's Muggle world, non-mag, whatever you want to call it. But that's a special class that I think Hogwarts really should look into getting. Teaching them how to dress properly and speak properly when you're out there with non-magical folks, and not drop words that will make them go, "What are you talking about, strange kid?" So we have a special survival skill class in that, and we also push a lot more the creative arts. Hogwarts has only touched on it with their frog choir and such. We're into musical instruments, singing, visual arts, painting, dancing, theater. Very engaging, very active things. A lot of the Aboriginal locals will contribute, especially to that class and our magic classes, because they still practice some very ancient and beautiful things, and they are willing to share it with us poor little European transplants. So we do have a few different courses. Come on down, we do allow transfers.
Cool. All right. So Albus Potter would like to know how your students get to the school. Like, Hogwarts, we take a train.
That's a lovely train.
I mean, for my students, because we can go from anywhere, and we will accept students from anywhere in the U.S. So they want to take the U.S. and take the Amtrak over. take Greyhound over, drive, fly. We pretty much, well, as long as you get yourself to Klingman's Dome, from there, students can choose different methods to get into the school. The older students can go into the information center and flush themselves in, but the new students, the first year students, do actually have to take the hike up the curl to the top of Klingman's Dome, where they just kind of disappear and boom, they're in the council house.
Trying to kill the kids.
Yes, gotta give them a good exercise before they get into class.
Has anybody ever been to Klingman's Dome?
It's,
Oh,
it's a hike.
nasty hike.
Whew.
Hey, we took the easy way, we just got a bus, triple decker. You should see it. I don't have a picture of it.
Like the night that's cold.
The kids painted it. So each level is painted in the class colors with the class names on it. And it works something like that British night bus. It gets around pretty quickly. One of its favorite stops is the Sydney Opera House, where, not unlike the other guys, yeah, you flush yourself in the loo to get to the port key to get to Sydney. But mostly, it's the bus.
So is that big, that independent, big rock formation that's out in the middle of nowhere that you're talking about?
Klingman's Dome, and it's just like right there on the North Carolina Tennessee border. I was saying, I think we had.
It's the highest.
But yeah, it's the highest point. You actually can see like
Right.
7 states from it, but they have like an observatory at the top where you can stand there and it's amazing view up there. Especially you get there at the right time of year, so many colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't want to climb it ever again.
Like, flush, thank you. I'm good.
So Scorpius Malfoy would like to know what you call the muggles or the non-magic folk.
So for us, we took a Cherokee word, again, founded by the Cherokee tribe. We have a word called Usti, which literally translates to little, but the tribal people tend to call it, weak. So the Burns figure, you're non-magic, you're a weakling, you're an Usti, you're a little thing, you're not worth looking into. I mean, it's not, we try not to use it as like a derogatory term, but it kind of has, just as some have used muggle to mean something bad. Sure, there are some bad students who have called people Usti as an insult, but it is just what we call non-magic folk.
Around Australia, there's a lovely little word, yabo, and it basically means somebody's not too bright. We tend to use that for the non-magic folks because, well, they don't know what we're doing, so they're not too bright on that. Yabos. Yabo.
Jessica Roms would like to know, what do your uniforms look like?
I don't put my uniforms up. So for the most part, like you see in the Hogwarts movies, the kids just wearing whatever they feel like. But during our formal presentations, like something like this, we ask they wear a solid colored top that matches your house, and then black slacks or skirt if they so choose to. We're formal, like most public schools. I know some schools do uniforms, but we don't want to make them wear like the Catholic school bra outfits or anything like that. We just be comfortable, be yourself, but they tend to wear stuff that matches their houses, or the colors that go with your theme. If you want to dress up with your animal too, we're cool with that.
We're casual too. Basically, Hawaiian shirt, very, very popular in Australia, preferably in your house colors. Yeah, definitely a Reiby fella here. It's R-E-I-B-E-Y.
So you don't get a shot in that house?
Yeah, it's not like this.
I figured it wasn't.
Yeah, khaki shorts, because, well, that is an Australian uniform. Hawaiian shirt, khaki shorts. The one thing that we have, which we've loaned to the folks up in England, is our summer robes. Those kids in Hogwarts, they're dying with the heat. We said, why don't you wear these sleeveless kind? So we just, and when you first get your robe, mine's got a hood, but I don't wear it because I have to have my own. When you first get it, it's white. And then you paint it. Yeah, I did mine when I was still quite young, so it's kind of sloppy all over the place, but it's a lot of my house colors, and then the school logo on the back. One size fits all. Hood when you need it. No sleeves in the way.
So hood protects you from the drop bags.
Not a bit. Drop that one shit, he'll eat you good.
Stay away.
Sweethearts.
Stay in the States, okay.
Does it have pumpkins?
Only because of you Brits, I do have a one pocket, but that's the only one.
All right.
This is our new prototype one.
Beth Olerton would like to know what equivalent tests do you have to the owls and newt?
Those are nasty.
For us, you know, I'm sure a lot of you went in the public school system, so we can do something kind of similar to the owls and newts, but like magical SATs. I'm sure y'all have stressed just hearing those letters. But we just, maybe, you know, stick with the owl thing. You start stats. No, owls, newts, stats.
You see your sacks?
We sit their stats, yeah. So we just, I don't really have a name for it, just magical SATs. Yeah.
Now, our testing's a little bit different. Every year you take your Yowies. Those are your yearly overview of wizarding improvement and expertise. Yowie is also the name of a creature that roams around Australia. He's kind of like Bigfoot, Yetis, Longland.
Yes, yummy chocolate.
There's also a cute little chocolate thing you could probably find at Walmart. Another thing altogether. And then the wombats you take at midterm in your 4th year. The wombats are the wizard's ordinary magic and basic aptitude tests. That's when you can actually just get a good idea where you're going to go. And then to graduate, you have to pass your proms. Whoa.
Yeah, pro.
Yeah, you didn't throw them in Barbie. Then that's your practical, rigorous analysis of wizardly nature. So if you can get your proms, you can graduate, leave school.
Cool. All right. So our next question is from Gavin Ollivander. You might recognize that name.
Hey, today's his grandfather's birthday.
Exactly, yes. And Gavin would like to know what woods and cores are in your wands and who makes them for you?
In our case, God makes our wands, so we don't actually use wands. We're more of the hand magic, because we are natural arts. We're one with nature, we're one with the magic. So our wands are our hands. So kind of our parents make them, and the core is skeletal and blood and muscles. Yeah, we're nice and simple.
That makes it sound terrifying.
Yeah.
It's the same way. There's a school in Africa, they do the same thing. They said, you know, you might make a casual gesture and some guy's nose falls off. It's like,
Scarlet Witch is our friend.
We're in Australia, guess what ours look like? It's my miniature right here.
Oh, boomerang.
Yeah, boomerangs. We call them boomer wands. They're a boomerang wand, and you know, you got a short and everything. So you take a boomerang. The list of woods you don't want to see. It's this long, you little Ollivander. And most of the wood is locally sourced. You will find a lot of Australian woods. I've got a list if anybody really wants to explore it. And likewise the cores. Now, our wand maker is a fella named Bruce Bundy. He goes by Bunyip. And he believes that animals should not be harmed to make a wand core. So his motto is nose to tail and stuff in between, scales and feathers. I think the only thing that comes close to hurting anything is a billywig stinger. And they don't need those. But yeah. The boomer wands are a lot of fun because unlike your regular wand, you can throw this one. You don't want to hit your opponent though. Say you want to cast a curse on somebody, throw it at him, and it goes twirling around. Might go right behind him. The magic hits when it gets close to them. And here's the beautiful thing. It comes right back. Okay?
Cool.
Oh,
All right. So next up is a question from Lucy Weasley. Lucy would like to know, do you have any school holiday locations like Hogsmeade?
So because we are where our school is, we kind of venture into the Muggle tourist locations like Cherokee Village or over to like Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. We just kind of blend in with the Oosties. We do like sweet treats and stuff like that. We kind of have our own store because the Cherokee had more kind of like a community type, you know, setup. So you brought something, you took something. So we've got a sweet shop that is donated by the parents or whomever, and we just go and take whatever we want, and we either pay for it with good deeds or good grades or whatever we feel is equivalent to what we wanted together. So we really kind of all about community and keeping it with inside. But when we want to venture out for a moon pie, we sneak over to Pigeon Forge and hang out by that gorgeous place over there. Or, go check out the Titanic Museum over there when we feel like it.
I know y'all are going to Dollywood.
Oh, yeah. We might be rolling the
You're not.
curse the roller coaster a little.
Yeah.
So fun.
We're a lot further away from anything civilized, so we've got our own little community that's built up, kind of like Hogsmeade, really, near the school. It's called Warehouse District 14 Station. You understand Australian, that makes good sense. And so we've got a clothing store, Bib and Tucker. There's a frozen fantasy shop. There's the Old Tuckered Inn if your family wants to stay the night, yeah, you got it. The Billabong Pub, you can go for a drink. And of course, Bruce Bundy's Boomerang Wand Shop. Gotta make a pitch for that. He pays me real good. The Daily Grind Apothecary, Flanagan's Fine Reads for all your books. And the Galleria Postal Station. Now, Rias are not indigenous to Australia, they're emus, but Galah, emu sounds silly, so we made it the Galleria. There's the Hangton Sporting Supplies where you can get your boomerangs, your Quidditch supplies. Quidditch is very popular in Australia, and other kinds of fun stuff. There's, Madame Pavlova's Sweets and Treats.
I was wondering if
Whoa.
you got in there.
Oh my gosh.
That's like a
Oh, you know it. And the bus terminal, the Marauders of Mischief Novelty Shop, Seventh Day Creatures. That's where you go to get your animals. Because the joke is that God created Australia on the seventh day and made all those really cool things and then tucked them down there where nobody could see them for years.
weird thing.
And of course the bank and the gift shop. So there's lots of things for the kids to do. And we have boomerang tournaments, and Quidditch is #1.
Yo.
Our next question comes from Lorcan Scamander. I recognize that name. He wants to know what kind of beasts and creatures might one encounter where you are from.
Well, you guys know we got some interesting mythical beasts around here. We've got, Bigfoot, but thankfully, Bigfoot usually doesn't hang out in our forest too much. And like around here, we got the bear skunk. That's still weird to hear in Florida, that freaks me out. Then just think of a skunk the size of a bear, just, no, don't want to think about that at all.
Is that what it
We got
is?
plenty of skunks in Tennessee, no, good. But we do also have the Wampus cats. If you guys heard about Ilvermorny, that other American school, a lot of those, their houses were named after a lot of mythical creatures in our area. But yeah, the Wampus cat is the only one that we know has been found crawling around the Appalachian Mountains, thankfully. But there's that really cool bird that Newt Scamander had that has some interesting powers. Thankfully, those are desert animals way over there.
America still counts. I mean, Australia and the United States are about the same size, so we get around. Are there any unusual animals in Australia? Are there any usual animals in Australia?
That's probably a better
Everything was
question.
still used.
Yeah,
Even the sheep are dangerous.
not
Yeah.
every animal in Australia can kill you. Some of them can't. They want to, but they can't. I mean, we've got Tasmanian devils, we've got kiwi, we've got crocs, we've got dingoes, we've got
Your
the
baby.
prettiest little octopus that's got blue specks on it. Do not touch it, you will be dead quickly.
So that one can kill you.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Poison wants to and can.
Stay out of the water. I mean, the jellyfish are deadly, the sharks are deadly, stay out of the water.
Got it.
Australia's
No
scary.
swimming.
Yeah.
And one of the things about the blue octopus is it's not always blue.
Yeah.
It changes colors because it's trying to hide. If you see it and it's blue,
Don't.
run.
swim, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Get away.
Do not be there.
The bluer it gets, the deader you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
That does not sound good.
I saw a video the other day, this girl picked one up and she goes, oh, look at the pretty spotted. And he said, put it down, put it down. And you watched it, it went from yellows and reds and it got bluer and bluer and then put it down.
Did she die?
No,
No.
she got it
She
down.
got smart.
She got-
Okay, good, yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, you can't just leave this hanging, what happened?
Yeah.
Darwin Award
Eat
winner.
it.
Right, yeah. Okay, so our next question is from Louis Weasley, and he would like to know, do you have magical money that is different from the non-magical folks' money?
Ooh. So thankfully we're very communal, so we really don't deal with money, so you really don't have to pay for anything. It's all just kind of the barter system a little bit. If we, when we're out in the UC world, we gotta use UC money. But for the most part, it's all communal, so if you want that, it's like, here, I want that, here's my water, thanks. Don't worry about
I got a fair trade.
money. It's all about community, it's all about give and take, the barter system. Go back to the old school ways.
Sharon? Sharon like?
Sarah?
Oh,
No.
yeah, we have our own money.
Many people.
Just to keep it separate from all that Australian coinage running around, ours are hexagonal. And there's a big gold one, it's called a Goldie. I know, such original names. Has a picture of a drop bear on it. A tenth of that is, it's bronze and nickel, I believe, compound that has a bunyip on it, and it's called a scaly. And then you get down to the little one, no, the scaly, yeah. The bubbles. Yeah, if I just read what's it, copper and brass bubbles have a platypus on it. 10 of those equal a scaly, which is nickel and gold, and then the gold, pure gold drop bears, goldies. I don't go to the bank much.
Money's hard.
Yeah, money's hard.
What do
But
you
yeah,
think?
we've got our own money.
You get debit cards.
All right, Julian Pruitt would like to know, do you have a house championship?
I mean, of course. We're in America, we're all about sports. With ours though, it's a lot of friendly rivalry, trying to get over the other houses. The main thing, unlike with Hogwarts, where they take points away, we feel like the houses shouldn't be punished. Your housemates shouldn't be punished because you were an idiot that day. So we only give points, we will not take points away. We punish that students, but we will not punish the whole house. So we do have our friendly rivalry in our championships, and the top house, they get whatever prize we feel like, whether it's extra trip down to Cherokee or, they just bragging rights, like, haha, we won last year, we're gonna win again this year. You lose, classic friendly rivalries, like between like school sports.
And see, we don't do that at all. Our houses all work together, all helping. Our common rooms are accessible to any student, and your private bedrooms not so much. So there's no house competition, there's no points until you get to Quidditch.
Steadily.
Every house has 3 teams. They have a first year team, and then they've got 2 mixed year teams. And then we have 3 mixed clan teams. And we compete all year long. At the, I don't know if anybody knows much about Quidditch, but in Australia there are 3 major Quidditch teams. There's one in Western Australia, one in Eastern Australia, and one in New Zealand. So a lot of our students grow up to be professional Quidditch players, so that's why it's such a competitive thing. So what we do is compete all year, tournaments, goofing around, very, very competitive. And then at the very end of the school year, we have a double elimination tourney. The winning team gets to play in a charity fundraiser against one of the 3 professional Quidditch teams, and it's a big gala party, all kinds of fun. So no house cup, none of that silliness. It's all about Quidditch. Sports.
All right. So, I can tell that this is definitely from a boy. James Potter wants to know, how's the food?
That kid. Well,
He wouldn't like
so
it.
Weird. Hey, you guys are weird. Yes, for us, it's home cooking. A lot of the parents, the tribal leaders, they make it so we don't have house elves in the kitchen. We get parents and local people, good home cooking meals every day. Some like nice, flatbreads and, or not flatbreads, fry bread, especially taco fry bread, best thing ever. I mean, just, they bring it in each meal. They serve it out. It's like being at home or Thanksgiving dinner with family. It's in every single meal. I mean, how can you not want to be in the school? James, no, we're not keeping Potter though. He can stand that
It's
school.
cold, that's why.
Yeah. Hot meals.
It's very different in Australia. Yeah, big time. Yeah, we do eat kangaroo and mutton and all that stuff, and meat pies and fish, and some people like Vegemite. I'm not one of them. They can have it. But we've created some interesting things. I did pavlova. I think yeah. Has anybody had pavlova? Oh my goodness, isn't that awesome? And because we've got to keep up with the rest of the world, we've invented our own line of jelly beans. Pretty got nothing on us. Local flavors all the way across the board, including kiwi, one of my favorites. There's kiwi bud, and there's kiwi fruit, and there's kiwi shoe polish, and there's kiwi people. Yeah, the kiwi
Those are all
people.
flavors of the jelly
Those
beans?
are actually jelly bean flavors, yeah. Shoe polish.
You thought vomit was bad.
Yeah. I mean, we've got good flavors too. I mean, pavlova.
I don't want the people flavored ones.
You don't want the people flavors?
Soylent free.
Vegemite, I mean, yeah. The people one smells like old sweatsuits. It's really not that good, but so much fun when your friend gets one. Oh, you got a kiwi. Ooh, wrong kiwi. So yeah, we got some nice food. Come on down.
Except for that.
Except, well, the jelly beans are fun. You all know that.
Like those.
We're willing to share.
All right, so Amy Nelson would like to know who does your laundry. I'm not sure what she meant, but I'm guessing it's like, is there someone that does laundry for the students, or do the students have to do it themselves?
And yeah, the laundry door, the house elves do all that stuff. For us, it's the same kind of communal thing. So we do have a set of parents that while you're in class, gather your bedding once a week, and you got any laundry bags, almost like a hotel kind of thing. And they take care of that, and they get their little magical washing system, kind of like see Molly Weasley's got, and they make sure to return it by the time you get done with class at the end of the evening. So it's very community, really, it's like your mom, except for it's someone else's mom. It might be your mom too, but it's pretty cool.
I'm worried now.
Yeah.
Send your kids off to boarding school and you have to go with them and do all the work.
That's what it sounds like.
Volunteer, it's like PTA, you know?
On the other hand, I have no bloody idea who does our laundry.
It's magic.
I haven't asked. Don't really want to know.
So
Might be
you're-
house elves.
So your clothes just show up cleaned on your beds?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's giant spiders.
Dried spiders.
probably.
They just re-knit it with their silks.
Yeah, they're really good at patching it.
Yeah.
I haven't checked into that, but I'm really curious myself now.
Yeah, not going to your school. No.
I've seen pictures of some of the giant spiders from Australia,
Oh.
so no.
My friend showed me one on her back porch. He's about this big, and she's named him and everything. I'm
He's
like,
colorful,
I'm not
like-
going to visit you. No. What'd she name him? It's like
I forget.
Herbie or something like that. I'm like, no.
So, Jessica McFarland would like to know what it was your favorite subject in school.
Favorite subjects. It's funny, I teach herbology now, but my original, I liked flying. I liked being able to get up there and play in the clouds and fly with the birds, and also keep an eye on what plants are, blooming this week. But it's interesting that I teach herbology. It's a fun little subject, but flying was so much fun in school. I don't know what it was, but and again, we also had a Quidditch team, so I was a secret on my house team. But Mine was a lot of fun. I love that.
Wow. I guess I've been a potions freak since the beginning, you know, mixing stuff up and all the, yeah, these potion bottles. Gotta carry your work with you, you know? Also keeps the well, not trophies, but keeps the mosquitoes out of your face. Nasty mozzies. Should we take a break from there and see if these folks got any questions? Of course, kids.
You guys have any questions?
About any of the other schools, I don't know much, but
We'll lie to you.
yeah, make it up right now.
Horrible, horrible. That's okay. You guys have any questions? Know anything about any of our students, teachers, food?
If you could go anywhere in the world and have a school, where would you go?
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe Scotland.
And there's already a school there.
Hogwarts.
I heard of that one.
No, well, Hogwarts you go there, but I mean, we would not start that on. And secondary to that would be Norway.
Ooh.
You're closer to Durmstrang then.
No.
Don't wanna go there.
Well,
They're
not
scary.
sure friends there, they can tell you where they're at.
Well,
But I don't
they're
think
probably
that
the
means
closest.
that it's Norway.
It's definitely up north.
Northern Europe.
Iceland would be okay too.
Alright, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys wear witches' hats?
We want to.
Well, it's my hat, so.
Okay. Tis the season around October. Gotta blend in with the oosties and oh look, I'm a witch. You don't even know.
Oh, I'm a bush hat, mate. I mean,
Well, here's a question. At Hogwarts, we refer to everyone as a wizard, whether you are a male, female, or something else. And I want to know how you refer to your students. Do you divide them up? Are there witches and wizards, or is everyone a wizard?
no.
Or are they warlocks?
No.
that term too.
Actually, speaking of Scotland, Australia went back to an old Scottish word for magical people, furly. So we just furlies, furly folk. Yeah, furlies and yabos.
Because of the Salem witch trial, it's fun just to use witches and wizards. Because, you know, then it scares people. They're like, oh, you're a witch. But, like, no, you can't. Maybe we'd like to stick with traditional words. Yeah. Yeah, fiber.
I'll get it.
And it's just a time news.
Just for fun, if anybody wants one, got a word search puzzle with all the schools and their houses and whatever hidden in it, and a commercial on the side for our jelly beans. It also has, I have worked up a sorting quiz to get you figured out which plan you're in. And, unless somebody's got another question, I want to teach you a game. How many of you have been introduced to Wizard Wand Potions? I passed the cards around a little bit. Okay, there's this weird little muggle yabbo game that they do this rock, paper, scissors, but that's rock already. Why? I don't understand that. We don't do that. Wizard, wand, potions, and then you say Revelio and do one of those three things. Okay, you got it? Yeah, Wizard, wand, potions, Revelio. So, I can use you. You
Yeah, but I
understand?
might need to get my cheater card out.
You got a cheetah card. Wizard's a standing up figure. Okay? Yeah. A wand is, well, your finger. And a potion is a cupped hand. It's a cup. It's your
Which
potion.
one beats what though?
Exactly the next question that should be asked. The wizard takes the wand and uses it, of course. The wand weakens the potion. And the potion poisons the wizard. So you pour it everything, and the wizard goes. And that's the basics.
Okay.
Anybody want a copy?
Yes.
Should we do a take and pass? Yeah?
Yeah. Do the-
Yeah, I have one.
Pass it around.
Yeah, we can vote, so.
Copy.
Thank you. Am I allowed to keep it?
Yeah, these are keepers.
The ones who come to work.
So yeah, if you guys, anybody want to play, or you got any other questions? Oh, My school is available on Facebook. Courage School for Thaumaturgy. All the other little details are there too. Like, we don't have 4-poster beds like they do at Hogwarts. We have sleeping pods that kind of hang from the ceiling like a cocoon. A lot of fun.
So are both of your schools are boarding schools, right?
Yes.
Yeah, once they get a certain age, yeah. We do a lot more homeschooling in Australia just because when you're in the bush and farm, separated from a lot of other magical folk, you kind of gotta.
Do you try to pretend to the outside world that you don't exist?
We don't exist.
I would say, I think we do a little bit, we blended pretty well, and even like with our students, because they entered the school at age 11, but you know, the state and government being what they are, we do actually send our kids to Usti public school for the first few years, and we actually have some schools out in that world that are magical friendly, so they kind of keep our secret for us, but they don't out our kids until then, oh, they transferred, we don't know what school they're at now. Yeah. So most of there's, you know, people who are friendly Ustis out there, but for the most part, we keep to ourselves, you know, got our private little community.
Yes, it's one of our classes is survival in the Yabo world. We take regular field trips into the normal places.
Let's take kids out to it.
Yeah, let the kids pretend to be. Like I said, we're very Quidditch focused. Finally got a tabletop Quidditch game put together. It is playable. I've got all the pieces and parts. With dice and everything.
Nice.
So if anybody wants to have a go at playing Quidditch later.
So I have a question too. So if I were a student at your school, what sort of magical oriented jobs could I have when I grow up?
Well, we've got like care of magical creatures, so like you like Newt's commanders, you gotta take care of the magical animals here, so we'll have, you know, almost a zookeeper of our magical creatures. Of course, you can also, if you want to, work at Makusa, get a government job. And, you know, of course, we gotta have our magical police to make sure that things don't get too cray-cray. 5-minute warning.
That's the 5-minute warning.
But, you know, basic, like, Hogwartsy jobs. They can do too, and heck, if even some person decide they want to be in Order, they can transfer over to England, Scotland, and go work over there.
Everybody's gonna be a professional Quidditch player, right? No.
Job school.
What kind of job? I mean, just working right there in town, you've got a bank and an inn, and we've got all kinds of goods and services. And plus, we need teachers out in the community. There's a nice community at Tennant's Creek up in the north. You've all heard of that, right? Tennant's Creek. Nice little town. Yeah, I think it might be related. And there's a town called Dubalaki that has an actual permanent school, so they're always needing teachers. And there's lots of ways to use your magic in the Yabo world without actually giving away that you're doing other stuff. Cool. Yeah, you can get a job wherever you want.
Say, I don't know what else, I'm out of questions.
You know how you get a boomer wand?
No.
Yeah, you pick it off a tree. No, that's not true. I've seen how old bandits and then they hand the kids all these things. Okay, these things fly, so we're not in this tight little room and tight little things. Bruce has got a big field out behind the shop. So he measures a kid, you know, tests a few things, picks out a few boomerangs he thinks might work, takes the kid outside, has him give it a throw. Now, you're gonna know if it's your boomerang if it comes back to you. Sometimes you'll throw one and it'll go slam right into the ground. That is not the boomerang for you. Some of them will fly off and we might find them next month. They'll come back eventually. There was a couple of cases of a kid threw one, and it was his, all right, came back to him, slammed him upside the head, and when he woke up, he said, "I'll take it."
Wands are dangerous, that's all I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
You gotta be careful of those things, but yeah, he had a lot of fun with it. There's one thing I forgot to mention. Kurjan, unlike Hogwarts, thank God, has no stairs anyways. Ramps everywhere. We've got ramps, we've got a few slides here and there, but you will not find a step anywhere. One of the things we like. Yeah, no step aerobics, go outside if you wanna do that. We also have our, herbology classes. We have, some geodesic domes set up on the hillside. School's completely underground except for that and the entrance. Under the geodesic domes, we have all our plants and some of our exotic animals. And they are climate controlled, or as we say, air conditioned. They're classrooms, and the kids call them akadakas because that's their initials, ACDC.
Your thunder?
Occasionally, yes. Thank you. No lightning.
Lightning will not strike.
No. But I think the akadakas are cool. They also do nighttime astronomy classes. Just open up the roof and look up, and there it is.
Where the stars are.
Anybody would like to actually register for Kurjan? I've got registration papers. We can find out what clan you are and get you all signed up all at once. That's us.
Of course, that the lovely map here, if anybody wants to
Oh,
take
yeah.
a closer look at it, please feel free.
Any of you
We have
from
snacks
Hogwarts?
because food.
Anybody here from Bobat? Where you all from?
Bubbles in here, I think.
Obviously, she's from Hogwarts, because she's.
Oh my God, look at the Hubble bubble
Where's
here.
that?
It's in the Northern Territory,
Who's Northern Territories?
Canada.
I was thinking, because we got a Northern Territory in Australia too, so I was like,
The Tim Hortons school.
in the words of the doctor, lots of countries have north.
Yes, yes, I was just thinking that too. Yes. Lots of places have one.
Lots of places have north.
Well, I'm from Hogwarts, just like she is. Actually, I'm American. I studied at Hogwarts, so I'm a member of the North American Lovegood branch of.
Oh,
And I am a Hufflepuff,
obviously.
and at this point, I teach magical ethics and a class that is similar to yours about how to live out in the muggle world. And I teach things like, things that there are some things that magic isn't as great for as the way muggles do it. Things like a lot of cooking skills and things like that. And it's cool, food's all right, but you can't be home cooking.
Yeah.
There's a magic in the person who makes the food, so we teach
I
that
love ingredient.
as well. And I have initiated a movement to do away with the slavery of house elves.
Yay.
I'm all for it.
Spew.
Well, that was our time. Thank you very much for joining us, and appreciate the two lovely ladies who were here from their respective schools.
We have fun.
Hopefully, if you have children that are magical, you now know where to send them.
Yes.
There's a